All right. I don't, did you look at the app at all?
Uh, Only for a few moments. I was waiting to get accepted or approved from you, and I logged in last night looking at it, but really couldn't get anywhere. I
Yeah.
looked into Skool several months ago when you first mentioned it. I went on there and I looked and I saw all the groups, and kind of how it looks like the platform is set up, but I never signed up, never got on it. So yesterday was the first day. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday, or the day before, whenever you talked to me, that was the first day I actually signed up and looked at the app. It was kind of, I don't know. So I got the app up right now. It it was it's kind of weird. Like I'm having a hard time
Yeah.
navigating like where, and even like today, it's interesting. I don't want to take too much time here. Just
Oh, you're
so
good.
interesting that today now I have navigation that I didn't have yesterday, which is kind of weird, or
Yeah.
last night when I was looking at it. So I don't know if it was my phone, I needed to turn it off or something. But now I
Uh,
have like home button and a whole bunch of other stuff. Whereas yesterday I didn't have any of that. I couldn't see where to go or anything
okay.
like that.
That's good to know because what I did, I can show you right here in the settings if you can see that. What I did actually is they have these plugins and I had unlock to chat at level 2 and unlock posting at level 2 or 3. I had those turned on. And so it limits like what people are able to do until they level up, and I'll explain that too. But there's like a lot of stuff you can do that kind of prevents spam, basically. Or like, yeah, so that's probably why it wasn't letting you do anything, is because I had those
Okay.
limits on. But
Okay.
now, do you kind of see like these things too? There's these different tabs. I added these yesterday, probably after you joined.
Yeah, I got general discussion, and then all of
Yeah.
the wins, share a sale,
Okay.
YouTube,
And we
have
could
those
change
sections.
these as the group grows or whatever, but um basically, I just kind of wanted to show you around because honestly, man, when I first got on here months ago, I tried to play around with it and I got really confused and it looked overwhelming and I kind of gave up. And for some reason, this time around, it just clicked. I don't know why. I was like, oh, this is how it works. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. Um, so normally when we invite people, it would show this, and this can get better here. We can have extra links and other things that happen on this bottom section. Let's see, there's annotation, right? Like I can circle that. Like that can get a lot better. I don't know how to clear that though. Um, and yeah, so you could like, there's so much stuff to do. We can't really just talk about all of it in this one thing probably. Um, but this is normally this should have been somewhat what it looked like for you when you had to join, right? Was something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I
Okay.
did it on my phone, so it looks a little different, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was basically it.
Okay. And then you come to this page every time you jump on. And so if there's ever any members that are pending or requesting to join, I you can set that up so that it's automatically um let's see, it automatically approves instant membership approval right here. But to prevent people like the other guy from spamming the group, I was just trying to, manually approve everyone. So right now, unless someone is, I posted on the school account. So unless someone's actually trying to post, it's probably, yeah, my brother. Um, or there's a couple other people I invited, like Ryan McKay and some other people that I knew were interested in some online stuff. And my brother was like, "Hey, I need another way to make some money and all that." So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so after you sign up, then this is kind of where you come to as a community, and then there will be all these different discussions in here, and you should be able to post something. So if you are able to from your phone, maybe you just want to, I don't know,
Yeah, let me
post
see.
up.
So I have like a little chat button at the bottom. No, that would be probably chatting with people. Okay, I can write something in the group. Uh, Hello, I'm new. Let's see, excited to be a part of something new. All right, I'm gonna post it. See where it goes. You must select a category.
Uh,
Okay, category general discussion, probably
yeah.
select post. All right, there we go.
So one new post that see how it brought this up for me. So
Yeah,
anybody that's in the group, if they're just on their home screen like this, it'll show that to them also, and then they can load the new post. But because I have this pinned post right here, um, yeah, it's gonna show this first. But yeah, so yours is here now. So that's really cool. And then when I like it, I can comment on that as well. And so what kind of happens, I'll show you like uh so I can say something back to you. They have
yeah.
like GIFs and stuff too. That's kind of cool. Links and YouTube links and stuff. And if you want to be notified of a certain discussion, you can just click the little bell and it'll notify you every comment and all that kind of stuff. That stuff's pretty self-explanatory. Um, but what's cool is like when you look at like my profile, you start seeing points to level up and how many contributions and followers, how many people you're following, um, that kind of stuff. You'll start to see that on everyone's profile. And the way that you get points and stuff is by contributing to the group. So when you comment or create a post, someone else likes it. See, yours said 5 points to level up. Now it says four. So each like is 1 point, and each interaction is 1 point. So the more you gain over time, you'll level up. And then what's cool about the leveling up thing is it kind of gamifies um, the
Does it
group.
do anything for like search results and algorithms, or is it just for it's kind of like a you know, it's a check mark next to your name kind of thing?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's
if it feels a little bit maybe like Reddit where
right.
it's just kind of like authority ranking. You're
Yep.
somebody who can be trusted. Is that really what it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you see, I think, well, we'll see right here, but I think like, yeah, so level 9 is like the highest you can get, and that takes a while to get to, but you can put in different incentives. So, and it'll tell other people a percentage of members that are at this level. Um, so we can put in different incentives like unlocking special courses, or maybe we have like a Zoom call with like a higher up influencer or something like that, and we're like, we don't want to charge everyone for this, but because we want to give this away as much as possible, but we do want the active members to get a piece of it. So maybe the people that are like level 4 and above, you can go in here
Okay.
and add a course that'll unlock that section for them.
That's
Um,
cool.
so if you look at like, where's my profile? My profile, I'm a level 1 here. Um, and so it'll show you my contributions and interactions down here. But if you click on your current level, it'll tell you the different levels of the group. And then when you have certain things set up, like enabling chat or um, comments or whatever it was, posting, I think it was, it'll show that in blue right here, what you're able to do and what courses are unlocked at those levels. Um, so that's pretty cool. And then it's got leaderboards. So right here, leaderboards all time, 30-day and 7-day. It'll show who's the most active and stuff like that. What's cool about it is I feel like we could create like a place that people are going to come in and like gain a little bit of authority where they may not have otherwise, in a
Yeah.
certain community. And then people are going to look to them for help, which is cool. And outside of this community, if they are able to not spam the group, but if for some reason someone reaches out to them or say you and they want to know more about how to do Etsy and stuff, and they're like, can you teach me? I think there's an opportunity for private coaching outside of this group for
Yeah.
individuals that I think that would be really cool. There's a lot of opportunities here. Um, so that part's really cool. There's a section here missing that I disabled for now, and I'll show that to you in a second. But calendar. this is where it gets really cool. I guess what they're saying on Skool and the training is like when you just start a group, invite people and hang out. Like that's build community first and then create courses on what you're going to train people as you get to know them. But we kind of already know what we're wanting to train people on, so I think hanging out's still important. But there's like different things like you can create a Q&A session and then put the Zoom link in and schedule it. And basically anyone can come to this calendar and see the events and sign up for them. And then when they're in the community, when there's a live event, it'll show the event name and that it's either that it's upcoming in a few minutes or that it's live. Um, and it's just, yeah, see right here, you're number one on the leaderboard. Um, so yeah, it's cool to set up events and stuff in the community. So if we have Q&As or live training sessions or recorded training sessions, we can post those as well.
Mm.
Um, so that's really cool. Um, members. So we have members here. And then like my brother, see, he just joined. I could chat with him, be like, hey, Nathan, welcome to 300 monthly. Message me if you need any help. And I could just, oh, that already sent to him actually, it automated. Um, so I could just say something else to him like, what's up, bro? And then keep him engaged, just to thank him for showing up and joining the group. Leaderboards, well, you can click on that and it'll show everyone that's on top, all the leaderboards of all time in 30 days and 7 days and the different membership levels. And then about is just like the homepage, the about page that we send and invite everyone to.
Yeah.
Um, and that's, I mean, honestly, that's the basic part of it. But the tabs section, so I have classroom turned off right now. And they recommended that until you start building some interaction in your community. But I'll turn it back on to show you what I've kind of set up so far. Now you'll see the classroom tab, and then you'll have all these courses. And so I was kind of thinking like for week one, you get it getting started. Week two, discover profitable niche. Week three, basics of affiliate marketing, and then content creation and traffic. And these are really basic things to kind of walk people through.
Mm.
Uh, and resources they can open and stuff. Uh, so I started putting some of that together. And these, I was thinking, man, that we would just make this stuff free for everyone that joins. Because eventually, when we get to a certain amount of people, I was thinking the price point from what a lot of people said is you keep it low, like $8, and then you hope for 1,000 or 2,000 members and build a
Right.
really cool, solid community. And then that way you're not worrying about the money. You're not like, oh, one more $99 customer. It's just you just keep building community and people will join. Um, but yeah, so I think eventually you and I will have to walk through all of these uh trainings and stuff if you want to.
Yeah.
And kind of we're gonna have to create videos and there's a lot of stuff that we're gonna put together for all this stuff. And you don't have to do, any of it. You don't have to do all of it. You can only do some of what you're interested in. Um, but yeah, and I tried to put like some sort of worksheet on each, well, no, maybe not that one, on each one. Okay, maybe I didn't get that far in this one yet. Yeah, of course not. Uh, but see, you could see like a recap, earning potential, and it's like a realistic earning goals, all kinds of stuff. We could put YouTube links. Like if I edit this, um, I can add a resource link, a file, or a transcript of the video that we posted, a community post. But there's also the option for putting a YouTube video in here, put a link in, and then let me just show you what it looks like when you start it. Whoops. When you start a new class, a new course, I should say. Oh, it's not going to show it. Let me show you in this one. So if you go like in there, see, it'll show up like this, or it'll have a video and then you're writing and you can allow comments and different links and stuff like that. So it can get really cool and people really seem to be very engaged in all the groups I've looked into. Um, so I don't
Cool.
know. What are your thoughts
Cool.
so far?
Yeah, it feels like it's it's actually like it's very similar to I've been playing around with Substack.
Hmm.
Um, very similar, but Substack is more, it's not like this feels like it's more, I know you can do probably a lot with this. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
just start a business school. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's plenty of people who they're not even on here to teach people how to make money. It's just like, hey, let's hang
Surfing.
out and write our next great novel together.
Right.
Um, but that's kind of like that's what Substack is. You have your own blog, you can do podcasts, you can do video, you have free subscribers, and you can offer a bunch of different perks. Um, and then what you do is to get paid subscribers, you're basically building a community, and then you add value. Uh, you know what I mean? You have that paywall for people who want more than generally what you're offering there. And it
Right.
oftentimes I see a lot of people on Substack, what you're getting access to is that person's time. So
Right.
there's like a smaller group that they offer. You get direct access to that person or whatnot. But anyway, it's more for writers right now. There's way more writers and news groups and things like that using it. It's not really being used for this.
Mm.
But this has like that game,
Yeah.
like you said, to it, where you're rewarded for interaction. That's something Substack doesn't have. So yeah, I get it. It feels very much like what, Facebook groups could have been. Um, so this is cool. This is a cool platform. It makes sense. I think I kind of get it just like I said, because I've been playing with Substack. It's very similar. Uh, Another platform that takes a minute to figure out. There, a lot of the features aren't really self-explanatory, and you kind of have to like turn some things off, turn some things on, and like kind of fiddle around with it to get it to where you're like, okay, I can give this away for free and charge for something else, or they need to be a certain level of subscriber before they get this content.
Mm.
So that makes sense. It makes sense. I think that's cool. I think yeah, I think a lot of the engagement, I think on this level, I mean, I don't know what you're wanting. You want to talk about the platform more or like or what? What are you wanting to talk about?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is like I think I think the platform itself, like once we figure it out, like how everybody's going to want to use it, because I think some people, if we don't have that down, people are going to get confused, right? They're going to like come in here and be like, "What is all this?" And
Yeah.
I think yeah, pushing the community aspect of it, like that, as soon as they come in here. So what you would do is like I'll show you in the settings again. I gotta turn this back on. Um, so like in getting started. One of the things that I want them to do is there's a what to expect and guidelines kind of doc that they're going to go through. And then after that, they're going to go through this whole goal setting thing, right? They're going to have this video they're going to watch, and these are our notes, and then two members, and below is theirs, what they're going to read. And then in here, I'm going to put a link to the community tab. And then that way, when they are done figuring out what their first month's goal is or whatever worksheet we decide to have them do, we encourage them to post that into the community. And then that way, other people in the community are able to comment and like and and encourage each other and hold each other accountable for reaching their goals. And that way, they're able to check in with each other. It's one of the on this one here. These guys are saying like they've got 22,000 members in here, but they're saying that like some of these groups that get created, these guys like started just playing Xbox together and stuff, and they like started playing like meeting up in person for coffee and building like real relationships out of it. So that's kind of that's why they say like get rid of your classroom for now and worry about just putting people in this group and building friendships out of it, and
Yeah.
kind of talking to each other about what it is that you're doing in business and stuff. It's tailored to each group theme, but if it was an e-bike group, then you would talk about e-bikes. But this could be all kinds of different people that just do stuff online. anything from YouTube to Amazon to Etsy or whatever the case may be, and just share in here, just share like anything, like you could, am I sharing my screen right now?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
not you don't have the screen up, but your camera is on.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me share this. Uh, let me share that screen. So like you could just say, Etsy and then question about hard stuff and post it, and then someone else in the group can now share their knowledge with you. So that's what I like about this, is that it's not just that like we have to be the experts anymore. Like no one person has to be the expert in this group. It's kind of crowdsourced. um and so having a low cost also of like $8 a month to me is like, man, I'm paying $8 a month, but I pay over that in Starbucks or whatever else.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I just talked to you about Audible. I was paying more in Audible. Um, yeah, and so you pay for that kind of stuff. And yeah, when you get around to it, you'll listen to the book or whatever it is, watch Netflix when you're bored or trying to kill time. But if you're only paying $8 a month to have access to potentially 2,000 people that could, help you in something you're stuck in, and because there's a gamification on this and people they like the idea of ranking up and being held to a higher accountability or a higher standard, most of the time, especially if you build the group right, then they're going to want to communicate with people. As soon as someone posts, they're going to want to come in there and respond. And
Yeah.
so, like, if you're stuck on something on YouTube and you're like, man, I don't know what to say, you could share, like, hey, I'm thinking about this thumbnail or this thumbnail. Help me A/B test this. Which one would you guys click on? And then you can go in there on this YouTube tab, and start that. We're going to end in 10 minutes, it looks like.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess we can start another one if we need to. Yeah, and then you could have people vote on what thumbnail they like or which one they would click on more. And you could do that almost in real time. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. There's a lot of opportunity for this group.
Yeah. I think for me, the value is like I always go to like, why would I sign up for this group? And there's a handful of things. It would probably be, um, resources would probably be what kept me. Like, the community is good and you need community. So I'm part of a blogger platform that I probably won't be a part of much longer because Google AI and Chat GPT search has completely killed my blogs. So, uh, you go from having 50,000 monthly visitors over the course of a year, 10,000 monthly visitors, and then, AI comes out and now nobody clicks through to a blog anymore. You just get the answer on the top of Google. So now I'm getting a few hundred views in a matter of just a year, uh, maybe 2 years, course of 2 years, going from 50,000 a month to like 500 views a month. That's kind of, you have to go, okay, so then probably won't stay part of their platform. But the reason why I stayed part of their platform was there is a community built in there and they're often giving you new info that you need to be looking out for. So they saw this coming. They knew this was coming. They've been pushing people to go to YouTube because YouTube videos, at least at that point in time, were harder to create by AI, right? So
Yeah.
it's now getting easier to do. But none of that's going away. It's all shifting. So having people who are in it and telling you like, hey, we're seeing the shifts happening. Here's the next level, or here's where you have to double down. That's helpful. But they also had new programs coming out that were always helpful. There was a Facebook group that I signed up for and paid for. Like, there was a Facebook group back in the day for not Adobe, Amazon's print on demand,
Uh,
and there's a guy who created it's actually merch on demand is what it's called, or merch, Amazon merch. And I joined a group because the guy was listing his for the group, and he only let in like 20 people, and he was listing a bunch of shirts at the time. He was having some pretty good success. He was one of like the early successful guys on the platform. And he started giving out all of his research. So what he did was he would go through and he would look at all of the trending shirts that were on Amazon, looking at designs, and then copy and paste them so that you could see what was trending and how good it was doing. He'd put their bestseller rank next to it. And really, all that group was for me was that list. And so I didn't have to go do the research. And really, what I did was I learned from him. I was like, all right, so this is how he's doing his research. These are the shirts he likes. These are the numbers he likes. I can recreate that myself now after a few months. But I stuck around in that group until he shut it down, just because I was kind of like, hey, I'm kind of thankful for what he did, and I'll keep supporting this group until he shuts it down.
Yeah.
He shut it down because people were getting grumpy. Like people were starting to see their own shirts on there, and they're like, "Hey, this is plagiarism. You're stealing our stuff," you know. And he was kind of like, "Well, you're here using these ideas too. Nobody's telling you to copy the designs, but these are the ideas that you can go off of." So he ended up shutting it down just because he didn't want the drama. But that kind of stuff would keep me like for Etsy, just off the top of my head, like posting niches and analyzing niches and putting that kind of content out. I would pay for that. If somebody was like, look, here's 50 niches, I went through and I picked the top 10 stores or items from these niches. Nobody's telling you to go out and steal these guys' content and just straight rip them off. But so you guys know, if you're into these niches, these are some top performing niches. Here's how well they do. Um, it's worth taking a stab at throwing some stuff and throwing it up on there and seeing what you can do. That kind of stuff is helpful to be able to see, like, oh, so somebody who has
5 minutes.
that success level on there that's had a handful of shops that have reached the top 1% of sales, right? You go, all right, well, that's somebody I want to know their process of how
Yeah.
they get their storefronts up. And then the other thing for me would be the reason why I'm most interested in this group and why we first started talking about creating something like this is just the getting over the hump,
Yep.
because more and more people, and really what spurred me on was I ran into, when I was out reviewing the first bike that got sent to me for my YouTube channel. um I was reviewing it and we were at the park and Kai was playing with some kids and Carrie was talking to the kids' mom and dad, and they're a young couple, a little younger than us. And the girl had just started a podcast, and she was kind of Carrie was telling her about me, and she was like super excited to have met me because she was like, man, and I haven't like ever met somebody in person who's actually doing it, like. So she's like that. Like I was thinking, like, should I keep going? She's like, no, this is like a moment of like, yes, confirmation for me. I need to keep going. And her husband was even talking about a handful of things. He's like, yeah, I've been wanting to sell some stuff I have. I used to sell on eBay and I stopped. And that's why I started talking to him about my eBay past. Like, yeah, we were making full-time money on eBay for a minute. And just talking to him through it. And he was like, okay, okay. He's like, today I got some symbols right now that I'm listing. I've been wanting to sell them. I'm going to list them, and then I'm going to start getting into my knife collection and all this stuff. And they left that day just kind of going like, man, thank you. This was meant to be. This was like,
Yeah.
and that was enough for me to go, look, how many people are sitting kind of going like, I want to get something started, but I can't. And so creating challenges around that kind of stuff, like just saying like, all right, guys, like your goal today, like here's a challenge for everybody to take it. Like who can list the most items on eBay, and
Yeah.
or just goals, like 10 items listed on eBay today, right? Who wants
Yep.
to take that challenge? You can get 10 items listed. Everybody has 10 things lying around their house, like that you're thinking about just throwing in the trash. Put them on eBay, you'll get pizza money, right?
Yep.
And that's cool. That could be your first $25 this month just by selling some stuff around your house.
Yep.
What stops everybody is like, oh, but how am I going to ship it? Like, what am I going to put it in? And I don't know. What if I lose a little bit of money because of shipping? Or, like we always have that in our back of our mind. Like, what if I lose like $5? You go, well,
Yeah.
at
Five
the end
dollars.
of the day, you learned how much shipping costs now, and it only costs you $5.
Right.
The next item that you sell, it's a $40 pair of shoes. You're going to make that money back because you now know how to ship it. And hopefully we're creating these kind of courses that are helping people. They're like, hey, like I know how to ship things. I know the process of it,
Yeah.
but those are the helpful things because that's what was my hang up with Amazon with the product I'm wanting to get out there. It's been a while since I've listed stuff on Amazon and everything has changed and gotten harder to list and you just were telling me how to do it and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." I was kind of like I hit a roadblock and was like, "Man, I don't know. It's going to be a process. I need to do way more testing on this to figure out if this is really what I want to do." I was hoping to just do like a quick testing the market before really going in, but I thought I had to get, I just thought I needed to get a whole lot more official stuff together that I don't
Right.
need to get launched on it. And so what I'm hung up on right now is packaging and all of that. So I know that's where you get hung up. And to offer those kind of challenges for people to come into and be like, all right, I can be a part of this challenge and I can level up and I'm going to get access to free stuff from these guys if I list these 10 items on eBay today, right? So
Yeah.
uh, it just gets people moving. And that's really what we want. Like, we want to create a community of people who are like, we just want to move the needle, get that car payment paid, and that'll change my life. And ultimately, once you do that, then you start to figure out, I can grow this X amount, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry, I know I ran on there, but those are the things for me that excite me about this type of group.
I think we're thinking along the same page because I was thinking about that when I was putting these classes together, and so I think we're kind of thinking along the same lines here. And in the classroom, what I wanted to set up from the first week was that they would, um, and it sounds funny because they're people, and if anything, they may know more than us, or they know the same or maybe even less, but I'm just starting everyone off at the same level, where we just kind of, what do they expect from the group? A goal setting workshop. And then here's the first challenge, which is like learning how to post in the group because this platform is going to be new. So, um, but it also eventually will help work them through like how to make better social media posts and different things like that. But the first challenge is like this introduction worksheet, right? Tell us a little about yourself, explain why you joined, what would you do with an extra $300 a month? What's your first goal? Put it all together and then share this in the community. And then that way everyone can come back here, see them as they're joining, they're posting, and then we're able to come in here and comment on those things and encourage people that are new. Um, and then what you were talking about a lot of is like things that kind of kept you were, uh, it could be something like this. Uh, Niche or niche, research. What topics do you enjoy learning about? Do you have any hobbies, personal passions, and kind of help them work through those things if they don't know? This could be somewhat like a beginner level thing, and I would really like everyone to do it. They could at least write down what they already are doing, and then
Yeah.
share that with the group, um, and then help them go. We can even go through and deeper in these in videos and walk them through choosing a niche and setting that up and understanding like, hey man, do you normally barbecue every weekend? Like, well, did you know that you could find barbecue grills and all kinds of different things on, on Share a Sale and Amazon influencer or affiliate programs, and you can create content around barbecuing and do a whole barbecue channel and like it's something you already like, and maybe they didn't even think about that and they thought like, no, I wanted to do it around RC car racing, but I don't own any RC cars and I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
And they could eventually get to that, but let's start somewhere where you're already knowledgeable about, and then and learn the process. Really, is what it is. Is like, how does this work? The easiest way to figure it out, I think, is by stuff that you already enjoy, because you already have it around you at your disposal. And we can, but either way, if they want to start a whole new niche, then it's like, well, you're gonna have to buy some stuff. And I want to be
Yeah.
clear with them,
That's
like,
what we did with bread when we started our bread blog and our bread YouTube channel. It was a
oh yeah,
completely new niche.
mm. Yeah, I mean it's possible. And if someone wants to do that, yeah, I want to make this to where we can walk them through that for sure.
I will say that we were already really interested in it. You know what I mean? Like we were pretty set on wanting to do it, and it was a niche that didn't require like we needed to buy a Dutch oven for like 30 bucks. You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't a big investment to jump into.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I really want to do more of this. Like these are just simple beginner kind of walkthroughs, but the more that we build this community and the more we go on with it, like we could do uh eventually maybe a weekly call. We could do one big call a month, however we decide to work it out. But there could be a lot of things that maybe we discover along our journeys, somebody else might discover along their journey. We could bring them on as a guest on the call, and just start to spotlight a lot of those people and just let them teach. Like that's the thing about the whole
Yeah,
group effort is we don't have to, not one person has to be the expert. It's kind of a crowdsourced um, effort. So that it makes it a lot easier eventually when the group starts to grow. But that's what I want, man. Exactly those things you're talking about. Like that's what I want this group to be, and I want to build it to that. Um,
cool.
and we can create courses around anything and make it to where, members have to get to a level 2 or 3 before they can add those courses, and it just or use those courses, and it creates this drive for people to want to stay engaged with other people and to learn
Yeah,
more. Initially we'll probably just have a bunch of stuff on here for free because we want to give out as much as we can, but I think there will be a
right.
point because it'll be time consuming if there's thousands of people on here, um, which I think with all of our platforms, our channels and stuff, if we're constantly promoting this type of group, like it could be like, hey, in today's video, um, it could technically be sponsored by 300 monthly. And if you guys want to, you guys are trying to find a community, like-minded people to help you discover, yourself on affiliate marketing, blah, 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 whatever the spiel may be. But yeah, we could really, really, I think, push this heavy. And I think it could get to a point where we're like, man, we can't just have everyone doing all of the courses because then we're answering 500 questions. And so you kind of have to like tailor it or taper it down to a certain group of people that are actually putting forth the effort and not someone that
Right.
just went into, page 7 on the highest level training and
Yeah.
wants to know a question about something when he hasn't even started in the basic stuff yet.
Right.
But
I think
yeah, we
that's
don't,
what's
we don't want people to jump ahead.
sweet about this platform is the levels. So that's what's kind of has a natural built-in like the people who have, I'm sure it would be a matter of you can work your way up to this level
Yeah.
by your participation, or you can pay your way into it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what sounds good about it. It's like, look, if we have some people who just are offering really good information and are really, really helpful, even like, hey, you really understand shorts, you know what I mean? Like, can you really, can you put together something for a community that talks about X, Y, and Z, right? Like that adds the value
Mhm.
and levels them up in a way, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to just be pay, but I do like that it has that built-in thing. I think that's clever in that it allows for free content at the same time a way for us to differentiate between, if you have 1,000 people and they hardly ever are on, and you have 500 people that are always on, you want to be able to, not that you don't want to reward the 1,000, but you can't let that random person, because that will happen. You'll answer questions all the time for people who never come back to hear your answer. There's like,
Yeah.
hey, like, what's the best thing? I've done that so many times on YouTube or on my blog or things like that. Somebody will send me an email and then I'll reply to them and like it's crickets. You don't hear anything back from them. Like, man, I took like 15 minutes of my day to respond to that. And if I did that for everybody who sent a message, then it's not like now that I have that, but there was a moment when I was that blog was blowing up. If I spent my time answering questions, especially on Etsy too, and I got so many questions on Etsy that was just like I can't keep answering all these questions. Don't have the time for it. So to be able to break them up, so I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. So I think that also, and I may not put this on the training, I might keep it, I don't know. But really the other opportunity is, and maybe this is the reason I'll keep it, is in order for us to maintain this group, we obviously need to have some kind of monetization from it. And I think there's opportunities for both sides, right? For us as group admins and leaders, and then the people that want to create special content like TikTok or Reels or whatever. Um, if they create a training program that has around or surrounded around like TikToks and Reels and how to create short form content, and they have that training program, maybe they have an affiliate program, and we can allow them to sell essentially their extra services apart from their training they're providing to the group, but we're using our affiliate link in that place. So we're also earning a commission, but they're getting the main chunk of the sales. Because I think the cool thing is the partnership. We're not trying to pull anyone away from the group, but the partnerships in the group that could be created and the revenue that could be generated amongst each other too. Like I'm all for that. Like that's the goal of the group is to get people
Right,
to earn more income. And so if you've got a group of 1,000 people that are all trying to sell something, they can also sell to each other, but just not spam the group in comments and stuff. It's like
right,
building relationships and actually solving problems. Um, not just spamming the crap out of each other and then like, oh man, this is a terrible place to be, and then people leave. We want to like foster real relationships, so that's a
right.
cool thing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think there's a lot that can be done, a lot that can be said.
Yep.
'Cause there's so many ways to just do something, and and I feel like and real value, like you know what I mean. The one last thing I think that I have to say is, I think we both are thinking that it's like the first 300, right? Like, I I think if all you need is a few $100s, because that's how I started. My little story, how I got in it was I was teaching up in Tehachapi, and we needed to make a little bit more money so I can keep teaching and we can stay up there. And I knew a friend that had sold books on Amazon, and I started looking into it, and it looked like you can legitimately make good money doing it. But you never know. Like as somebody who's never done that, you just go, I don't know, like people are telling you stuff, you don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
Um, and unfortunately, like people are charging for that information because you have to. Like their time, if they're going to create that product, they need to be paid for it
Yep.
because that means they're not selling books. So if they're helping you, they're not selling books, they need to recoup that money.
Mhm.
Um, but I was like, I don't know, I don't want to pay it. It sounds like too good to be true. It was like good money, full-time money, like thousands and thousands a month. I was like, no way. So I contacted my friend and was like, hey, you've been dabbling with books on Amazon. And he was like, well, first of all, like there's a lot to it, so you're gonna have to learn a lot, but he's like, it might be more than what you need. How much money do you need to make? And I told him, I was like, yeah, probably like $300 would be nice. So it's kind of funny that that was the number. $300 would be nice because, um, I'm having a baby, want to buy a new car. And
Yep.
really, that's really what it is. I want to be able to have a reliable car at that point. We were just barely we were pregnant with Malachi back in the day. And I was like, probably like $300 would be like what I would really need, but like for me to really make it worth my time, it would be like 500 to $750 a month would be like I could take time, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna have to not prep for things for the classrooms. That's gonna take my mental space from the classroom. I want to still be a good teacher. So to make it worth my time, I would need probably like 570 would be great, but 300 would be enough for me to get started. And he laughed at it. He was like, bro, he was like, you're gonna make way more money than that selling books. Like, you're gonna quit teaching. I was like, what? He's like, I'm for real. You're gonna make way more money than that. He's like, but if all you need is $300, he was like, look, dude. He's like, this was back before OfferUp. He's like, Craigslist was the only online selling platform that was out there. He's like, look, dude. He's like, I drive around on Saturdays and I pick up people's like trash. Like they put out their couches and stuff like on the side of the road. He lived in Louisiana at the time. He was like, we put our big, large items out on the road. He's like, I just drive around with my truck and I put their stuff in the back of my truck put it in my garage, and I listed on Craigslist for like $10, $20. And he's like, I make $500 a month right now selling trash on
Yeah.
Craigslist. He's like, if you need to make $500 a month, like he was just laughing. He was like, look, there's so many ways. He's like, look, he's like, I got Legos in my garage that will make you $500 a month selling Legos. And like he was just going on and on and on with all this stuff that at that time I was like, this guy for real? Like I don't really want to like hawk Legos and like, this is kind of crazy. But that like got my wheel spinning.
Mm.
And he said, like, what got me going was like, look, here's a book. It's like $6 on Amazon. Some guy just wrote it. You're gonna think it's a total scam. 'Cause but he's like, it's like really short. It's like 30 pages long, but he tells you literally everything you need to get.
Okay. We just lost you for a second. Okay, I think he's back in. Let's double check. Yeah, he's back in. All right, there he is. I was just uh going through some
You there?
comments. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, this video. You ever feel like videos are like snake bit, man? Or like anything you're trying to do is just like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm in the Yukon using the solar, and
Oh
I
man.
thought I had uh the inverter turned on, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't. My laptop died.
Oh man.
So anyway, it's a janky video, but you know what? It's not like it's a real video. It's not a polished lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
But
the
anyway, so my whole story is wrapped up with him just telling me to get that book and do everything it tells me to do. And I did. So I bought the stuff that he told me to buy, and it was like a couple $100 investment. And then, um, yeah, literally, like, so I listed the books that I had in my house that I didn't want anymore.
mhm.
Started going to some libraries and looking at their books, their sales, and made like $1,700 the first month. Like I started
Wow.
listing them in month one, $1,700 in books, and
And you
called them
probably
up.
didn't
And
think you could do that at all. Like
no, no way. I still, even
if
after
I
you told me that, I was going and I was checking these books and I was looking at the prices. It was telling me what they were selling for. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to spend this money to buy these books and ship them to Amazon. I bet you they're not going to sell. And it was literally within the first 24 hours of the books going live that I got my first sale. It was like a textbook that I had from like several years back from school, and it sold for like almost $200. I remember being like, telling my brother, I was like, dude, I just sold a book online. And he signed up like 3 days later. He's like, what? Show me how to sign up. But that was how I started. And it took knowing somebody who had done it
Yep.
and having somebody just giving me the roadmap to say, look, here's how you can do it. But at the end of the day, my whole point that I'm getting at is there are so many different ways. We couldn't possibly create all of the like classes of all the things that you could do to make two or three or $400
Right.
a month. But ultimately, like to be able to get that start is what I think most people need. Like you just need to get the start. And then once you get the start, then you need somebody else. So
Mhm.
why start this platform for me? Like, why do I think this is something that probably fits me as an entrepreneur well? Is I think I'm good at starting things. That's what I naturally do. Like I like to start little new things, and I've grown lots of things to $200 or $300 a month. Like
Yeah.
I'm really good at that. I'm not a scales guy. Like, and so why do I want to start this group? Sure, yeah, like because I want to help people. Um, Genuinely do. I love talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the value that I would really get out of it is like, sure, like if there is an income from subscriptions and things like that, that's great. But if I can meet somebody who knows how to scale through this program, like, I'm not a starter, but man, I can tell you how to get your where to buy your bottles for your hair care product stuff. And
Yeah.
I can introduce you to a couple of manufacturers that will do this right now for you. I need a scales guy who knows how to do that because that's not who I am. That's not my strength. And I haven't ran into anybody yet in all of my dealings that's good at that. So to
Yeah.
create a community where there's a real value for people to be like, hey, look, I think I'm pretty good at scaling, but like I need a niche. Like
Right.
what niche should I go into? Um, and if we can attract people like that to where every step of the way there's there's opportunities for value for everybody. That's what excites me is to go, hey, we might be able to introduce people to people who will launch products and businesses and the likes, right?
Yep.
Um, but that would be my hope is maybe there's somebody who joins that's like, yeah, that's my thing. I've taken a handful of businesses and scaled them, and now I'm looking for the next thing to start. So I just hopped in here and was like, what are these guys doing? There's stuff with AI, there's stuff on YouTube. I haven't done a YouTube thing
Yep.
before, but I know how to scale from a start. So that's it. That's why I shared that whole big old long story is to say, um, my friend's point was starting, just like there's millions of things you can do. Just go. You'll
Yeah.
make some money. And that's what people need to hear. But yeah, the scaling.
The scaling.
Scaling is where it'll be. I think if we can turn this platform into that, then that would be a win.
Yep. Yep. And that's what I'm hoping for. Definitely. Because like you said, not just the scaling, but the bottles guy too, right? You might need a guy that's got the bottles or a guy that knows how to label, or maybe he makes stickers. I don't know, and he can make the labels for you, and that's his business on here. And he's trying to
Right.
grow and scale his sticker making business, and he's like, "Hey, I got the guys that are trying to do e-com, and I can make labels for you." Or whatever. Like however these relationships jive, like I think it's awesome. I'm looking for it. That's what I'm looking forward to for sure, is to see the people that we meet and how they're helping each other. It's like that Bakersfield Roasting Company shirt that I have that says "We help people who help people" or something. We're like
Yeah.
we're starting the group, right? We're not necessarily the big dogs or the experts or anything. We're hosting and facilitating, but and putting together the training and different things like that. And but but yeah, definitely uh, the people that'll join this group are going to be the experts that in the areas that we don't have expertise in. And so that's where the what is it, the group collaboration and the group effort come in. I forget the word I used earlier. It was like co something, yeah. But whatever. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I can delete that part if I need to, but I'm not worried about it because I want this to be kind of like raw, and a lot of our
Mm.
conversations just like this, and then record them, put them on the
Right.
training, man. Just do like a weekly Q&A or something,
Right.
discussion.
Right. Right.
So
That's what I was saying when I was like, this is a hot mess. This is like
yeah,
all kinds of tech issues. My camera is terrible right now. And I can't figure out why. And but like I said, it's not I'm not accusing anybody of lying, but at least hopefully anybody watching this knows it's not. I mean, I can help you start as best I can to start an income online, but
yeah.
um, if
But I
you're a
can't get
video
my
guy, help us
GoPro
out.
to work.
Yeah, sign up if you're a video guy and help us
Yeah,
figure all that out. But yeah, so it's real. That's we're not I'm not claiming, like I said, when I was talking to that lady, she was just like, man, I'm so glad like you've encouraged me. I was like, well, I just want you to know, like, I mean, like I'm an ebb and flow throughout the last several years of full-time income, and then, it'll start to die out, and then I'll have to launch into something new, and it takes time to
yeah,
grow everything back up to it. So I'm not smashing success of like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars pouring in, but I've managed to do enough to support my family over the years. And this is a good moment because I'm back down. Things have dipped. So
yeah,
now I'm having to launch back into new things. So this is a good time to jump back into something like this where it's not just me saying, look, from the top of things, this is how it's done. But they're like, but I'm right back in growth mindset. Um, and So it's fun.
Yep.
It's a good moment.
I wanted to you I'll just share one more thing and then we can wrap it up whenever you need to. But um I was at the school for a talent show last night and they were joking about, I forget what it was. Oh, a popcorn machine. We had the popcorn machine from the church actually at the talent show, and we were making popcorn. And the principal at the school said, "How much does one of those cost?" Actually, she's like the director of the school, and she's like, "I was like, I don't know, and I'm sure I could find it on Amazon." Or she said actually, because Amy and her had talked about me reviewing stuff on Amazon, and she's like, "I bet you could find it on Amazon." And Amy said, "Oh yeah, he sure could." And then she started kind of asking me about like, well, how do you do that? That's so weird. I didn't know you could make videos and make money. And so I was explaining it to her. Apparently her two daughter-in-laws both like make YouTube stuff. They make like content or something, but neither one of them really know how to get onto the Amazon platform and they don't think that it's attainable for everyone. And
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know, it's probably really strict, guidelines and all this kind of stuff. They're just unfamiliar with it. And that's just two people that are like in real life in real person. Um, and I was like, well, my friend Chris and I are getting this group started. And it was just like literally the net like hours after I had talked to you about it. And I said, when we get it started, I'll have Amy give you an invite link and then they can get signed up in the group. I was like, we're not super experts about anything, any one thing, but we can help people get started. I know that much. And then the more the group grows, the more they'll learn and know. And then they probably have stuff that they can share with the group. I think it'd be really cool. And I said, right now it's free. So we got 10 minutes. Right now it's free. So it's a good time for them to get in. But even after that, I was like, it's only $8. And she's like, you're only going to charge $8 a month for that? I was like, well, yeah, I mean, because we're not doing all the work. Like it's gonna be a group, a
Yeah.
community that's gonna help us grow that and learn from each other. Anyway, she said, yeah, definitely send me the link. I think that'd be really cool once you get that started. So just kind
Yeah.
of cool. People just don't
That's
know. They
cool.
don't know who to connect to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. I had the same conversation
Yeah.
just the other night. There's a guy here where we're staying right now, in an RV right across the way from us. And he has a TikTok channel and he was asking me about like how do you get on Amazon? Or he was asking me what I did. I was telling him what I had been working on because that was when uh, I was still trying to get Amazon, like trying to bump it and get it going. That's when we first started it.
Hmm.
And he was kind of like, he was like, yeah, I don't really know. And I was like, well, you have to have like a following though. So like you kind of have to have a good sized following. He's like, oh, well, I have like 60,000 followers. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You have six? Why? Yes, yes, you can get on Amazon. He's like, but I
Yeah.
don't know how. Can you like show me how? So I was showing him how. Um,
And did he get on?
and
Like, you got approved?
he actually did. He couldn't because they denied him, and I was trying to figure out why. It took me a while, but um, he does a lot of his stuff is reposting of other people's
Um,
content. So
not a,
so he like comments on a lot of other people's stuff, and there's not a ton of original stuff.
yeah.
But I told him some other ways to go,
Hmm.
and was like, hey, so do start posting more of your own content. Like, so I think if like it's all original stuff, like starting from today, like try it in a few months, and you might be able to get accepted. But I was telling him, but you don't need Amazon to do any of that stuff. Just start doing these other brand type things. So now he's like, he's getting items sent to him, he's reviewing them
Oh, wow.
and getting commissions and stuff like that from
Yeah.
signing up for a few programs. And now he's generating them because he's like, even just like a 50 to $100 would make a difference, man. And so,
Yeah, definitely.
but that's crazy how many people have a following who are like, well, I don't know how to
Yeah.
start. And I'm just like, dude, if I had a 60,000 TikTok
Would
following,
think so.
like I would, like, I just would imagine, like, not like he's super talented guy. He's a chef, like all this stuff. Like, but in my mind, I just think if you have that big of a following, you know, you already know Amazon Play. You already know all of that stuff. But a
Correct.
lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And so that's where starting a platform like this, it's like, look, I'm not teaching you how to get 60,000 followers. You already have them. So you
Right.
don't need to pay me big money because I'm going to promise you the world or like try to build you from the ground up. But if what you're needing to know is like, just where do I get started? How do I find that motivation? What does it take to get approved for the Amazon programs? Or like if I want to start an Etsy shop, like I mean, are people really even making money over there? Um, well, yeah, we can help you with all of that stuff. That's, I think, more and more I'm seeing it's a real value
Oh yeah.
that people really need. And so I was telling people here about literally over the last couple of days about our group. I was like, well, my friend and I think we're gonna have a group up pretty soon that's free that you guys can join if you want. You can just see a little more about what I'm doing. And being honest, I tell them like because right now I'm kind of relearning a lot of stuff. Things change. That's the other thing people will have to motivate and encourage people that look like
Yeah.
things change every few years. Like this, there's a cycle of like restarting, even if it's within the same brand and the same piece. Like there's a level of revolving door. And it takes encouragement and motivation and people around you to be like, hey, how's your sales going?
Yep.
Hey, have you thought about this? Like, I just hit you up and was like, man, did Amazon stuff go down for you? Like, I got slammed a
Yeah.
month or two ago. Like, yeah, they changed some things, and you're picking back up now, and I'm not picking back up. So I'm like, okay, so that gives me encouragement to go. All right, so it's not dying, it's not
Yeah.
dead. Uh, just stay the course, and stuff will keep going back up.
Yep.
Because you feel like, oh man, sky's falling. I got to abandon ship here. Like Amazon changed everything, and nobody's seeing my stuff anymore. What do I do? And you're like, no, 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 I'm going back up. Like, okay, so
Yeah.
then
That's
I
the goal
probably will
too.
too. Just stay the course and go.
Yep. I want that.
Hmm.
I want to do that. Our next call, possibly, like our next call, maybe we'll jump on some Amazon stuff, maybe. But there's some other content we need to make too for the new people, new members and stuff. Um, and like just the getting started week one, and if we can talk more about that on a different call, but yeah, because there's a lot of videos I need to make for that. And they're all 5 to 15 minutes each, but still they need to get made because but I'm mainly saying that because I'm going to post this in the group. And if you guys are still watching this at this far along,
Train wreck of a video.
yeah, this train wreck of a video, that we appreciate it, thank you. But we are going to be creating content very soon in this courses. It's not unlocked yet, so you won't see that tab, but we will be getting that going because I'm passionate about this. I definitely want to see, I'm knocking stuff over. I definitely want to help people earn an income. So I think it's definitely a passion of mine. So it seems too easy, too good to be true, but it's not. It's You just got to
Yeah,
have the support. So
yeah. And we're not preaching easy. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is it easier than going out and training and becoming an electrician and going through journeyman program? Probably.
yeah,
Um, but like it's not you have to work at it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But this is for, I mean, like I was thinking about, I was like, who's this for? I mean, like it's for people who are like they're doing Amazon Flex, they're doing Uber, and they're spending the time already
yeah,
trying to get a little extra income, and they're not getting time with their families, and they would like to be able to find out something else that they don't have to exchange so much of their time ongoing,
right,
especially not even knowing, am I even going to get tips for doing like, whatever. I don't even know what the platform is now. Back when I was dabbling with it, like, is it Uber Eats that's still the big one? But
yeah,
I mean, like, they don't even know how many tips they're going to get, and like, people are making good money on there, but there's a lot of people who they're just like, some days it's good, and some days nobody's tipping,
yeah,
And it's like, but if you exchange that hard work, um, it does seem a little too good to be true.
mhm,
But it's hard work, so we're not preaching some magical passive thing. Like, it'll take time, it'll take effort, but in the grand scheme of things, it really is easy. And so that's why it does sound too good to be true.
yeah,
And because, people probably dabbled in a couple things. And like, even though I've had success on Etsy, I know this is getting long, we need to get out of here. But even though I've had success with several shops on Etsy, I've had several shops that bombed, right? So
yeah,
um you're trying to help people who maybe they did start an Etsy, like my sister-in-law who had some sales and she was doing okay. She was following my some of the advice that I was giving her and she was making some sales, but then she got too busy and it wasn't enough. And you kind of go like, oh yeah, I mean, but that's part of the process is making it through that initial like crickets. Okay, so I posted the things and it's crickets. I've had luck sometimes with, and I don't really consider it luck, but and not like skill, but by not being luck, I'm just kind of like I don't really think much about luck, but um I've had success. Like if I hadn't sold those books within the first 24 hours, I don't know if I would have, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know that I would be here today doing what I'm doing. So it
Yeah.
took a little bit of the like, holy smokes, like I had a I had a screaming first month.
Yep.
This is real. And my brother saw it and he's like, he's still on Amazon now. He's like, this is real, dude. Like this is real. And so that's what it takes. But it's like, for every person that it's like, wow, this just took off first month. There's lots of people who are like, I've put 500 images up on Etsy and like I've made like $300 total. This is
Right.
like a lot of work for
And
not a lot of money,
yeah.
right? So you're like, okay, so then uh
Oh, we got
so
one.
that's what this group is for continuing to push. When do I need to like, is it time to like let this go, guys? Like what are your guys' thoughts? Like this is what this group can really help with and help. I'm just talking too much. Help with motivation. I need motivation. I need to
Oh,
get
good.
going. I need people to like tell me, hey, get back to work. Stop talking on this video call because you have
Right.
content to create.
Yep.
Um, and so